How's it going, everybody? I want to try something new for this channel. This will be in addition to any kind of graphic design stuff that I do, but I want to see if this is something that you all will like. Since the subject matter of my poster designs is music and movies, I want to see if I can actually do some movie and music discussions. I'm not at all a professional movie critic or music reviewer or anything like that, but I do love talking about it, and I thought you might be interested to hear my thoughts. And while I was kind of talking out loud last night and cleaning the kitchen, I was thinking of the movie Batman and Robin. And I don't know, I thought it would be a fun movie to discuss. So I'm going to give this a shot and put it up and see what you think. So, Batman and Robin. What can be said that hasn't already been said on the internet? Basically, it's the popular thing, it's the cool thing to hate on Batman and Robin. It's very easy to do. I'm not here to defend the movie, at least not for the most part. But I think that there are some things to consider about the movie and about what was going on at the time. Now, none of this has been planned. I kind of have a few ideas of what I want to say, but this is all pretty much off the cuff. None of it is scripted. So maybe you're interested, maybe you're not, but I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. So Batman and Robin came out in 1997, directed by Joel Schumacher, and the previous one was Batman Forever, and so he directed that one as well. Took it in a new direction, obviously, from Tim Burton's Batman. But what I think that a lot of us tend to forget is what was going on around the time that this movie came out, okay? You know, we were 3 years away from the first X-Men movie and 4 years away from 9/11 happening. And I've heard people say before that, you know, post 9/11 movie watchers and everything, like audiences really wanted something that was more grounded in realism. And I think that that is true for the most part. You saw like this definitive line between, you know, like pre 9/11 movies, post 9/11 movies. They got a lot more serious and a lot, you know, I don't want to say darker, but just a lot more serious and a lot more grounded in reality. If you've seen Batman and Robin, you know that that movie is not grounded in reality, like at all, not even close. It is basically a comic book movie come to life. I've actually said a few times over the years that the movie would actually work really well if you change one thing about it and nothing else. And that one thing is animate it. Wouldn't it be crazy if you took that movie exactly as it is, didn't change a thing about it, and make it animated? I bet you it would work. Now, I'm not saying that it would be a great movie if it were animated. I'm just saying that it would probably work better than it does as a live action film. And even though you had these Batman movies that were coming out beforehand, you know, Batman 89, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, you still had the Batman 1966, the Adam West Batman, in the minds and memories of audiences pretty much all over the globe. For so many people, Adam West was Batman. And Michael Keaton, I mean, aside his, you know, his casting and the controversy that surrounded that, there was quite a bit of it. You know, that all of that aside, Adam West was Batman for pretty much everybody. And even going into the 90s, you know, they still had this attachment to the Adam West Batman. And so I think that when the time came around to working with the villains and everything, you know, you see this a lot in Batman Forever. The Riddler and Two-Face, very, very cheesy, very crazy, you know, like very wacky type of deliveries and performances there. And I think that, you know, at the time, obviously Batman Forever did really well in the theaters. And I'm pretty sure that Batman and Robin also did well in the theaters. Of course, that doesn't make them good movies. And, you know, with Batman Forever doing really well in theaters, it was pretty much right down the middle. It was a safe movie. It was the safe bet to make, you know. You have Val Kilmer, and plus you had Jim Carrey as the Riddler, which, you know, at the time he was red hot, just came off of 3 number-1 movies, and he was the 90s version of Frank Gorshin, so he was the perfect choice to play the Riddler at that time. So it's important to know what came before it and what was happening in terms of how they treated the villains and everything. By the time they got to the 4th movie, Batman and Robin, that movie is basically an Adam West Batman movie with a budget of however much they had, what, 70 million, 80 million? I'll put the right figure in the video. But the villains were so cheesy and off the wall. They had all the one-liners and everything. And it's like, it's very much from the 1960s Batman. Like, every single person in that entire cast, aside from, I think, maybe Commissioner Gordon and Alfred, are actually just playing super, super hokey performances, and it's perfect for an Adam West episode. And also another thing to remember is that this movie was 8 years away from Batman Begins. So when Batman Begins came out, I remember, this was before I saw the movie, but I remember people saying, oh gosh, another Batman movie? I don't want another Batman movie. Like, who wants another Batman movie? And the thing is, like, I know that it did fairly well in the theater. I remember the people that I knew, very few people of them were actually interested in watching the movie. But when they finally did, they were like, wow, this is amazing. This is such a great movie. It blows everything out of the water that came before it. Really, really good movie. And it's interesting to think that because of the 8-year difference, you know, from Batman and Robin all the way up to Batman Begins. And of course, you know, somewhere in the middle, you've got that 9/11 timeline that happened. There's just a major difference between how audiences viewed movies pre and post 9/11, and unfortunately for Batman and Robin, it falls on the other side of that. Now, that is not to say that it's a good movie, because it's not. I've seen it more times than I can count. It doesn't mean that it's a good movie. It came out when I was 14 years old, and at the time when I was 14, I thought it was great, you know? I mean, I didn't know any better. Like, nothing had come out yet that had really said, this is the new standard for comic book movies. It's what we were all used to, it's what we were watching, and we were, for the most part, fine with it. I remember when I was around the time that it came out, you know, Batman and Robin and Mortal Kombat Annihilation came out the same year. And between the two of those movies, even as a 14-year-old seeing Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I remember leaning over to my friends that I went to the theater with and saying, this is awful. This sucks, you know? But I don't remember doing that one time for Batman and Robin. It was just a different time. There was a completely different approach to comic book movies at the time. Obviously, they would get better, and in my opinion, they would plateau. But in terms of getting better, like the first X-Men movie did it very well, and it actually did it a year before 9/11 happened. So major props to that. About 10 years ago, I invited a whole bunch of friends over, and we watched Batman and Robin, and we basically had a Laugh at Batman and Robin party. And we had pizza and we had ice cream. Of course, you have to have ice cream, right? You know, for Mr. Freeze. And we had a great time. Everybody left full of food and in a great mood. So, you know, it was just a really good time. Now, having said all of that, does it make it a good movie? No, it doesn't. I mean, even I recognize and I will admit it's not a good movie. However, that does not mean that it's not entertaining. So you can watch it and be entertained if you just kind of let yourself be entertained by it, and you kind of have to do that. So all in all, I guess I'm probably defending maybe more of the circumstances surrounding the movie itself rather than the movie. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a great movie. It's not on the same level as Dark Knight. It can't even begin to reach those levels. But overall, it is a fun movie to watch. I haven't seen it in a long time. Who knows? Maybe I'll pop it in this weekend. I've actually got the house to myself. I know that there are a lot of other movies that I could be watching. All right, well, here's the age-old question. What are your thoughts on Batman and Robin? Obviously, I think we all can agree it's not a great movie, but it's at least entertaining. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. And also be sure to subscribe if you'd like more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.